What's so funny? What is so funny?
Oh, John Emmett said he's a regular somebody, but
He's apologizing for his... Hi, Tom and Julian Olafo. I tried to mix it up today. Adventurous fellow that I'm, and I had the fish and chips on a Tuesday rather than a Friday. Problem is I'll probably wake up tomorrow and not be sure what day it is. What is that? We are live from Studio B in San Francisco. I'm back home in San Francisco, thank goodness, after a nice 10 days in Michigan. I'm your host, Tom Eamon. My co-host, Julia Vatican, is here.
Hello.
And the chat is already chatting. Blake Middleton was from the land of 10,000 Lakes, was the first one on.
As usual.
And Peter Taylor in New York City, Rick Bannero in hot Connecticut, Greg Phillips on the Gold Coast of Oz, Alan Long's up in Ohio instead of Texas. I don't blame him. Mark Holland outside of Boston. If this is Tuesday, it must be Sailing Illustrated. MJ, Mary Jude Szymanski in Philly, Chris Fury, good morning from Mornington, down the bay from Melbourne, down in Oz. Welcome to all of you. We've got a really good shoe, as Ed Sullivan used to say, Julia.
Yes.
A really good shoe.
Really good shoe.
Very newsy show today. A lot's going on. Let's get to the starting line, and here are the topics du jour. Happy Tuesday and happy International Roofie Prevention Day.
Roofie or roofs?
Roofie. You know what a roofie is. Bravo Zulu to the Brits, Emma Wilson and Andy Brown, who are topped the IQ Foil Worlds. And also bravo Zulu to Enzo Bollinger of Italy, who is the new king of the Moths. That wrapped up at Lake Garda last weekend. Another bravo Zulu to Transpac winners, the Yacht Lucky and the Yacht Restless. We have quite a feature on those two boats and their owners and skippers. First ever female skipper, Julia.
Yay.
To win the Transpac.
Good.
It's very good indeed. Another super Fozy report from John, an update rather, on John Sangmeister. He's out of the hospital and he's back home after a painful near-death. I got some funny stuff from him this morning. Painful near-death experience. We're going to feature, of course, the Long Beach Olympic Classes Regatta, the Phase 1. That is half of it's underway, and it wraps today. And then Thursday, the second phase gets underway, running through Sunday. Coaching Corner, John Emmett, looking forward to this weekend's Sail GP. He's talking about Sail GP. He's going to be there, Julia, with his microphone and his camera, and he's going to interview a bunch of sailors for us.
Good.
For next Tuesday's report. On and on and on. This day, special this day in history, the 15th of June. I'll give you a early hint, for those that are digging into their Google or want to. The 15th of June, 1983, with relevance all the way up to and including today. Maybe. AC-38 still crickets, while the lawyers continue to beaver away behind the scenes. I can tell you a little more. I'm not at liberty to say much, Julia, but I'll tell you a little more about what's going on there.
Okay.
All you croutons who said, there's going to be a big action on Sunday or a big action yesterday, Monday, down in New Zealand. I said, relax, everybody. Just relax. That means you, Daniel Gruen in Germany, in Augsburg. Last leg, we're going to have two reports in the last leg, both on the Aegean 600, which wrapped up. And Mr. Doctor, who ran down there to present the prizes and then ran back so he can be ready for the Admiral's Cup, which starts not Tuesday, it starts Thursday. The graphics department, Julia.
Speak to them.
Muck that one up. Bang on the door, the control room door there, because get the graphics department's attention. This day in history, we mentioned Whiskey Tango Foxtrot in our fantastic Fozy and more for today's show. Number, what is this? 849. One more and we're to 850, Julia.
Wow.
And that is the feature, as you can see in the PIP, the picture-in-picture there. This beautiful shot. I spoke with Commodore Lisa Meyers this morning, who is the Commodore of Long Beach Yacht Club, and she also, bless her heart, is co-chairing this regatta with Steve Van Dyke. So she's got a lot on her plate doing the PR, returned my call this morning, clarified a few things for me. But I said to her, Commodore, I don't know whether to call you Commodore or Madam Chair or what. She said, just call me Lisa. She's that kind of person.
Yeah.
I said, this is a great shot showcasing how wonderful the Ilkas have it here in Long Beach and how relatively awful it's going to be for them if, in fact, this regatta in 2028, the Olympic Regatta happens in San Pedro for those classes,
I know.
the boat
That's a
classes.
great picture.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Well, I should kick this off by thanking Clark Chapin.
Yes.
Our super Fozy, who's been with us since the beginning. He filled in for you, Julie. Did he do a good job?
Very good job.
He did a finger wag or two as well.
Yes, he's getting he's getting more particular than I am.
Exactly. I said, Clark, Julia will. We were in some break, and I said, don't get too carried away. Julia will think poorly of you for wagging your finger at something that's not that foul. Now, we talked, Julie, when had Clark on the show. We didn't do a show Friday because I was in transit back here, but
Right.
The previous Tuesday. And Clark had waxed us on the Thursday night, the previous Thursday night race at Portage Yacht Club, my home yacht club in Michigan. And I had managed the 3-2-2-2 in 4 races on our Thursday night series. And Clark had won 2 of them and finished third in a couple of the others, but he won the night. Well, we turned that around this past Thursday night.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we did, because here is a shot. Okay, don't be critical of my trim here. We're way underweight. I've got my friend Alfredo Partibile crewing for me. There's the Portage Yacht Club in the background, the University of Michigan FM radio station tower on top of Peach Mountain at the south end of Portage Lake. Portage Yacht Club. I'm sailing my dad's old 1318, Interlake 1318. That's the 18-foot boat. It's a great boat. It's an 18-foot designed by the same guy that designed the Star boat, the Star.
Oh, that's
Francis
right.
Weisguth. As a trainer, a junior trainer for the Starboat on the Great Lakes back in the 30s, I think is when he designed that. And it's a little bit like a big snipe, hard chine boat. Started out main and jib only, like a Star, and then they added a spinnaker. And for the last, 40 years or so, 50 years maybe, they've been racing the boats with spinnakers as well. And there's a good fleet of them around, a good group of them around in the Great Lakes area and at our home club there at Portage Yacht Club still. One of the great classes there. With 10-year-old sails and a newbie crew, we managed to finish 3-1-1.
Wow.
So we won the night, and that's not saying much, but it was a, 8-boat fleet, and we had a good night. And, considering we haven't raced a small boat in a year,
Yes.
let alone at Portage Lake against, skippers and crews who are pretty practiced up.
Mm-hmm.
But we still know how to do it a little bit anyway. So that was the report from this previous Thursday night before coming back on Friday. Julia, and that in 385 won't buy you a Starbucks, winning the night at Portage Yacht Club's Thursday night. But it was great fun, beautiful weather, kind of 90 degrees almost every day, not too humid.
Clark must not have been amused that you did so well.
Clark was very happy that we did well.
Oh, good.
He was Clark's very generous and very kind.
He is.
But we managed to, even as my dad likes to say, even a blind pig finds an acorn or a turnip or however. What are the comments are rolling in here now? It was all Alfredo. Fog Machine knows Alfredo here from San Francisco. Lance Burke, he said, he's the secret sauce. Poor old Alfredo had never flown a kite, really. And he managed to jibe, but we did. We went. I'll tell you what, John Emmett would be proud.
Yes.
Because we did what John Emmett always says you should do is time on the water. And we went out, instead of going out the last minute and throwing the boat together, throwing the sails up, we went out an hour early and practiced.
Good.
We went uphill. We started getting our tacks and did a little bit of roll tacking, started going downwind with the kite up, rounded a practice windward mark. And, practice doesn't make perfect, but it helps.
Sure does.
It helps, Julia.
Yeah.
Jonathan Frank is chiming in. Blake Middleton. We had a wooden interlake at UW Green Bay, University of Wisconsin Green Bay, that saw a lot of great sailing time. Yeah, it's a good class. Did Drump and Epstein establish the St. Okay. Age and treachery wins the day. That too.
Yes.
Jonathan Frank, that too. And as I said, I took John Emmett's coaching, as he says there in the bottom line. I took it to heart. You got to get out and you got to practice.
You do.
Especially when you're a rusty old fart like me.
Especially.
Who hasn't sailed a small boat on a shifty pond like Portage Lake in a year. Julia, what are we celebrating today?
Oh, well, it looks like it's good to drink.
It's International Stamp Out Spiking Day. Spiking your drink. Staying aware while having a good time is crucial. Protect yourself and friends by watching out for suspicious behavior. And Julia, since this is the drinking show with a sailing habit,
yes,
we had to celebrate Stamp Out Spiking. Have you ever had a spiked drink that you know of?
Not that I know of.
Have you ever acted like you had a spiked drink
No.
after going to the yacht club bar?
Never.
You know, we had that incident over at St. Francis one night. And the lady, and I think it was not a spiked drink, but it might have been. She fell off her stool and onto the floor, and it was cryptonic. And it wasn't a stroke or anything. She may have had some bad ice. I don't know. Stamp Out International, not just national, international Stamp Out Spiking Day. This started in the UK, actually, and it's a big I don't know if it's a celebration. It's a big event in Australia.
Yeah.
But a national UK survey taken in 2021 revealed that drink spiking often goes unreported, no surprise. In fact, stats show that the drink spiking in the UK may have reached epidemic proportions. And because many people do not know how to recognize drink spiking when it happens and evidence cannot be secured, which could lead to conviction of the crime, perpetuating the problem.
Oh, yes.
International Stamp Out Spiking Day was founded in the early 2020s, offering an opportunity for the public to become more aware about the dangers and how to protect themselves. And
how do you protect yourself?
Well, I'm not surprised you'd ask, Julie, but I have the answer. You'd think poorly of me if I didn't have the answer.
Yes.
Here was your other clue. That is pronounced Rufinol.
Oh, those are RUFIES.
Those are RUFIES. RUFIES. Now, the original RUFIES. It's the slang term for Rufinol, which I'm not going to try to pronounce. Flunitrazepam. Flunitrazepam, a central nervous system, a CNS depressant in the benzodiazepine class. I did look those up, but I can't remember how to pronounce. It is similar to Valium, but much more potent. This is the classic Rufie. It's not approved for medical use or manufactured here in the States, but it is prescribed in other countries to treat
insomnia?
Yes.
Okay.
It has also been illegally used to enhance the high of other drugs or to ease the negative effects of stimulant use. And Julia,
yes,
we have the video.
Uh-oh.
The drink spiking prevention scrunchie, perfect for your big night out on the town. Wear it out in your hair or on your wrist and pull it out at any time to protect your drink. You never know when you may find yourself in an uncomfortable situation. Believe it or not, drink spiking can occur even while you're holding your drink. Have peace of mind knowing that you can cover your drink at any time. NIGHTCAP is reusable and ultra convenient. But remember, never take drinks from strangers and never leave your drink unattended, with or without a nightcap. Get yours at nightcapit.com.
Nightcap. That's how you prevent it.
Oh,
because you never know who can put, so you get one of these things, you put it on top of your drink.
Right.
And I reached out to some of our FOSI to see if anyone would endorse it. And guess who does endorse it?
Who?
Look on your screen. None other.
Oh, the original.
than Jody Shields.
Yes.
This nightcap is endorsed by our FOSI, our super FOSI, Jody Shields down in Oz. You see him holding it in his hand.
Must have been victimized.
He may have been victimized. I'm certain he would never he wouldn't ever be the perpetrator, perp.
On purpose.
I'm sure not. Nightcap,
No.
You're covered. And that's our influencer.
Yes.
FOSI, Jody.
Well, it's good to know. I don't think we're in dangerous company usually, but
speaking of which, would you like something in your drink, Julia? I've been waiting to put some bourbon cream in your coffee. I've been away.
Oh, yes.
Oh, there was some. Clayton Embley will be proud. We do have another bottle of this here at the Beach Street Yacht Club.
Mm-hmm.
You want some pills to go in there?
I don't think so. Not for that dribble.
The dribble. Okay, what are the comments now? Oh, my goodness. Always down your drinks in one, John Emmett is saying. Yeah, don't leave them uncovered, I guess. Is this we make light of this, but it's a bit of a problem, I guess. Jody's beer never touches the glass, Gordon Smith says. Now, do you know something about the comments today, Julia?
There are two colors.
Well, they've been two colors for a long time, actually, but the background is now a video. It's actually a video instead of just an image. So we got a little motion there, a little motion graphic.
That's
And
good.
if you can hear, there's also a little, you can't hear it in your headphone, but those listening to the final program audio can hear a little water noise, that noise you love that's so calming.
I do.
In the background every time that slide comes up. So that's a bit of an innovation, Julia.
We need that all the time.
The nightcap. You're covered.
I like Mark Collins' report.
What's he say?
An overserved patron tripped over the red velvet rope surrounding America's Cup and sent it to the floor, caught by Jack Keith before it landed.
Is that true?
I don't know.
Well, Mark Holland would know. He's got, that compendium. If anybody wants a copy, write to Mark. John Emmett says his goddaughter Ruth had a drink spike, so it does happen. What else here? Olaf from the FIDI, Larry Kennedy. Hey, by the way, Larry Kennedy's son, Colin Kennedy, has done very well in the Transpac.
Yes.
So bravo.
We were looking at that. Yeah.
So bravo, Zulu, Larry, to your son, Colin. I got a text from him, in fact, this morning. What else are we celebrating? As always, those of you who are FOSI, we appreciate the support, whether it is by virtue of coming on the show, watching the show, liking, following, sharing, but especially those of you who give us a few dollars a month to help keep us on the air with our studio. And without that money, we wouldn't be able to pay our stream fees.
Uh-oh.
We'd be in trouble here, Julia. Sailing Ill at patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated if you're so inclined. And those of you who have, thank you very much for your support. Our July schedule, quick note, July, August now. The next 4 shows starting today are our regular shows at the regular time on the regular channels, 1300 Pacific time, which is 2000 UTC this time of year. Tuesday the 29th, we'll have a special Governor's Cup preview at our normal time on the normal channels, 1300 Pacific, down at Balboa Yacht Club. Christine Gribben will be my guest, maybe Andy Rose as well, if we can get him away from all the work he does prior to that regatta starting, and his show, because he hosts the Meet the Teams on Tuesday night. He is the MC and the roaster in chief. We will cover that live on GovCup TV at 2000 PDT, which is 0300 UTC. But for those of you in Oz, and a lot of kids coming up to race in this from Australia and in New Zealand, so parents would be.
I love that show, always.
It's fun, isn't it? Andy does a great job, and we'll be covering that live with GovCup TV, probably run it on the Sailing Illustrated YouTube channel as well. And then on Friday the 1st, no regular show, because that morning we're doing morning shows at 0900, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I host those. 0900 PDT in the middle of your night in Oz and New Zealand, and 1600 UTC. Then live racing on Saturday and Sunday at 11:30 Pacific, 18:30 UTC on the various channels, including Sailing Illustrated. And it wraps up this year a day later. Wraps up Sunday night instead of Saturday night because of a scheduling conflict imposed on the GovCup by World Sailing. I'm sure it was inadvertent, but it was a scheduling snafu nonetheless. So the GovCup folks, Andy, Christine, and so on at Balboa Yacht Club kindly pushed everything back one day for the first time ever in 58 years. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled Tuesday and Friday shows starting on Tuesday, the 5th of August. And our show number 849, again, that fabulous shot of Long Beach and why any of these classes are being forced to race in San Pedro. It is a shame, but, I don't want to say it's going to change, but I will say this.
Yes.
There are initiatives underway to try to reverse the decision.
Oh, good.
People are not taking this laying down. I can't find a single sailor, old, young, Olympic or otherwise, who thinks this is a good idea.
Yeah.
The other thing that's going to happen is that the ILCA Youth Worlds, the 4, 5s, and 6s, I guess, are taking place in San Pedro in a week or two's time, and they're going to have to tow out for an hour, and they're going to have to go outside of the big kelp beds that are outside the port of L.A. in San Pedro. And I think after that experience, a lot of people are going to say, Whiskey, Tango, Foxtrot.
Right.
What WTF are we doing here instead of down in beautiful Long Beach? In fact, the report today I'm going to do is just showing you the classes racing in Long Beach and how beautiful the conditions are, fabulous Long Beach conditions.
Yes.
There, just like we had in 84 and in the lead-up regattas to the 84 Olympics and so on and so forth.
Right.
Bravo, Zulu, Julia.
Yes.
Well done. In praise of performance, we've got 3 big events that wrapped up since we've been on the air a week ago. And the first is the IQ Foil Worlds, which were in Aarhus in Denmark. They wrapped up on the 11th. There were a bunch of teams there, as you know. More than 200 of the world's best windsurfers from over 40 nations descended on Denmark for the first World Championships of the new Olympic quadrennium, and with Olympic medalists from both Tokyo and Paris in the fleet. The intensity was high, and so was the pressure.
I'm sure.
So it was a big event.
Yeah.
Beautiful pictures from Aarhus, from Denmark. There was a jury boat chasing down a couple of the teams, including, I think, one of the winners. And both winners, Bravo Zulu, were from GBR. Maybe GBR is already back on the warpath for the 2028 games after struggling a bit as a country in Marseille in France. But Emma Wilson and Andy Brown, both Brits, were crowned the 2025 IQ Foil World Champions, female and male, in Aarhus. Here they are. And Bravo Zulu to all concerned, because they sailed beautifully by all accounts. 2025 IQ Foil World Championship wrapped up in Aarhus with a spectacular medal series showdown that saw Emma Wilson and Andy Brown rise to the top and secure World Championship titles. In the women's fleet, Tamar Steinberg from Israel claimed silver, with Teresa Steinlein from Germany completing the podium with bronze. On the men's side, Tom Arnoux from France, is that how you pronounce that?
I would, yeah.
Arnoux clinched silver, and Nicolo Renna from Italia finished with bronze after a day of fierce racing and strengthening breeze and growing tension. And here is a video that I thought you would enjoy.
Oh, yes.
Because this is about next year's event, already being promoted in John Emmett's hometown at his home club and home National Sailing Academy. In Weymouth. The IQ Worlds next year, the 21st to the 26th of September, at the Weymouth and Portland National Sailing Academy in Gran Bretagna.
Wow.
So nice stuff.
Yes.
To that class, Bravo Zulu and those winners. Now let's go to the IQ Foil. The International Moth Champion. We just covered the IQ Foil. The International Moth Championships, which you know, I'm sure were going on at beautiful, fabulous
Garda.
Lake Garda. There were 137 competitors from 25 nations, including America's Cup, Olympic, and Sail GP stars. And Julia, you know, we had that long list of names on last Tuesday's show in the title, in the lower third, with all the names that have been dominating the class, including Tom Slingsby and others.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
There's been a sea change. The youngsters have taken over.
Oh.
And that's what happened there in the past week. Now, except for Slingsby, you can see Tommy on the left there, finishing second on the podium. And he had a strong performance on the last day to get back to second. But the 2025 International Moth Worlds on Lake Garda wrapped up on the 13th of July with France's Enzo Bollinger delivering a dominant performance in clinching the World Championship, building an impressive 12-point margin over Tom Slingsby. New Zealand's Jacob Pye, who's been the training partner with young Matthias Coots, and Matthias, of course, is the defending world champion, Russell's son. Jacob took third and also earned the youth title. And then Victoria, a new name, Victoria, for at least for me, Schultes, Tice of Malta, won the women's title. Our old friend Brad Funk of the USA claimed the Masters. Now, what's that mean? Anybody over 30? It's over 35. It's not like he's 60 years old. Brad's pretty young. And Kai Adolf of Germany won the Grandmasters. What's that mean? Over 40 or 45? I don't know. So that was a cool event. And we've all been watching it. Magnus the Magnificent's been watching it with on the Rule 69 blog, and various others have been reporting on it breathlessly all last week.
Yes.
And here's the new champion, the King of Garda, as Magnus called him. Enzo Bollinger is untouchable and lifts the coveted Carling Trophy, but Slingers, Tom Slingsby, kept him honest. And here, Julia, is the video.
Okay.
The Moth is an amazing class because it allows you to think for yourself and to understand the boat as best as you can. There's so many different aspects of the boat which you can improve and make as best as possible, and there's always new gear coming out that you can play around with. It's extremely fun. It's fast-paced racing. It's exhilarating. It's awesome.
It's unbelievable. I cannot realize it. Now I think I need time. We'll see after the prize giving, but yeah, it's just feel amazing. It was a really tough fleet. Everything was a challenge, and yeah, really happy to succeed.
And the 2025 Mock Class World Champion,
Nice video, good results, beautiful.
Yes.
Lago di Garda, Julia.
Even being on that lake is wonderful.
Indeed. So a little more on this. This is the world champion. This is Enzo. And he said, we've just wrapped up the Moth World Championship, and I'm the new world champion. I still can't quite believe it. All the work has finally paid off. Winning this title was truly a life. And he's been focusing entirely on this apparently for a year or more. It's been an incredible week. I had a few small setbacks, but we managed to solve everything and stay focused. Huge thanks to my whole team for their incredible support. And his team, sounds like a tennis player at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Incredible support and work. The boat was fast. Everything went smoothly. Just amazing. I want to thank my sponsors, my girlfriend Lou, presumably that's Lou there in the photo.
Right.
My coach, whom he doesn't name, presumably that's his coach. I don't know any of you in the chat, no. And everyone who supported me throughout the week. And of course, Lake Garda.
Yeah, it is special.
It was a bit of a weird weather pattern, but it settled in finally. They got that breeze out of the south later in the series. Hattie Rogers, who was the defending world champion, she's there on the left in second from Great Britain. There's Victoria, whom we mentioned earlier, from Malta, who won. And Lisa Schweigert from Germany was third. Now, it's a great achievement. I don't mean to take anything away from Enzo, but here's a guy who's got the America's Cup campaign, behind, he's just wrapped up Barcelona, and now he's looking forward to presumably AC-38 with New York Yacht Club if it all sorts out, as the late great Arthur Wolschliger used to say. But this is Slingers, Tom Slingsby, and I would say, this is my own personal opinion, but what isn't? All things considered, Tom gets the most impressive performance award. I mean, here's a guy who's doing the America's Cup, is doing Sail GP with a new team and a new spot. Well, not a new team, but a new team ownership structure. Bonds, the Australian underwear company. I guess it's owned by Hanes here in the States, but whatever. As their new sponsor, he's married now. He's got a new kid. And I remember getting married and having a kid and thinking if I could ever sail well again ever. And he's managing to do all that and more, climbing up to second place. So bravo Zulu to him. And this is Magnus Wheatley writing, whilst Tom was generous in his praise of the young Frenchman who held it together supremely to the end, it was perhaps a sign-off from the class by the Australian. I don't know why Magnus said that. Father Time is cruel, and Slingers, a new dad and with big commitments elsewhere, knows that his best Moth days are arguably behind him. He just finished second in the worlds, Magnus. Yeah. MTM, I didn't quite understand this. So regardless, he is, time marches on, but to finish second against this crowd, 130 some odd boats, that's not to say that he didn't put up a heck of a performance. Yes, finishing second overall after a late consistent charge and winning the last race. If that's to be Tom's last, you don't think he'll sail? The event next year is in Perth, in the Fremantle Doctor.
Oh, yeah, there we are.
In the middle of their summer. So I can't remember if it's December, January, but it'll be fabulous. You don't think he's going to go sail there? He's a big, strong boy, still pretty young. If that's to be Tom's last regatta, it's a great way to sign off and remind everyone that his talent is otherworldly. Well, that is for sure true, Julia. And here's the new world champion. And Magnus says it's now a huge commitment to the commitment, that is winning anything in this class.
Yeah.
And it's going to be largely predicated on private money and sponsorships. As Gordon Smith said in the chat when he saw that picture of all those moths, 130 moths, those are $80,000+ boats, or maybe a little less than that.
That's incredible.
And that's a lot of money.
It is.
Right?
Yes.
What's $100,000 times 100 boats? $10 million.
Yeah.
I did the math before the show. I'm not that good to do it. No, that's a lot of money.
It is.
There's a lot of money in boats. Well, so there's
and there's such little things.
Yeah, well, exactly. And they're, after the regatta, a whole bunch of them are for sale so people can get the latest and greatest, because it's a development class. It's not a one design class. As Magnus says, moths aren't cheap. Let's not pretend otherwise, but there are very bankable commodities in the fleet for the future. And that includes the burgeoning women's scene, but come Mounts Bay in Perth, the next year's Worlds, the new order will be well established. The likes of Ballinger, Pye, who was the third place, and again, the Coots training partner, Littlechild, Coots himself, Schulteis, the brother of the female sailor, I guess, and Rosenberg. Now, Rosenberg's the son of a Fozy, Julia.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Ben Rosenberg's doing well here.
Yeah, good.
Plus a host of up-and-coming, I think he's president of the class, too. Young guy. And he's a part of the American Magic team. In fact, American Magic had a pretty good go here between Slingsby and a number of the other American Magic types, including Rosenberg, who did well in this event. So that bodes well, maybe, as well for U.S. sailing. But in those fellas, plus a host of up-and-coming Mothites.
No,
Mothites.
Mothites. That
will double down on their training could well dominate this fleet long into the future, Magnus asserts. It's exciting. The young guns were... Now, there's a mixed metaphor, Julia, if I ever saw one. The young guns were dinosaur shooting this week, and boy, did they take some scalps. What kind of a mixed metaphor is that, Magnus?
Three in one sentence.
Yeah, arguably three. For sure, two. You're dinosaur hunting and you take some scalps. So that's politically incorrect here in this country now to talk about taking scalps like the
Yes.
So-called Indians did, the Native Americans. Magnus! We still love him, and we love his writing.
Yes.
And he carried on here. This, again, is Enzo, the winner. And Magnus says, where the Moths go in the next 16 months is all really exciting. The gap between the 2024 Worlds and this regatta was just 7 months. Remember, we covered that down in New Zealand at the turn of the year. Now, with a longer time gap, that's a huge development and training runway, meaning the end of next year, when they are going to be in Perth in WA, Western Australia. So it's a huge training runway ahead of these sailors, and whilst many will trip off to the Grand Prix classes, there will be those beavering away. Did he get that from us or on development to take it stratospheric? Interesting to note the number of Moths up for sale on Facebook Marketplace this morning, meaning the day after the regatta.
Yeah.
The great rotation is on. That is MTM writing on his Rule 69 blog on Substack, for which we're appreciative. So he writes for the America's Cup 38 website, and he's got a good piece I found this morning. In fact, he just published it today.
Oh, good.
Julie, we got a ton of comments rolling in here. Go back to San Pedro for a moment. Nobody's saying that San Pedro is a bad place. Well, they haven't done much sailing there. Let's see how that goes when they really get out in the open ocean. Chris Dewar is there. He's in San Pedro right now preparing for the Ilka-4 Worlds. While the breeze is consistent and fantastic, this is the thing we've been telling you all along. Chris is saying, reporting, the logistics of housing, etc., are a mess. San Pedro is not even remotely ready for this, let alone the Olympics. Exactly. And David Richard Morris saying Pedro has good breeze. Yes, we all know that good breeze, Hurricane Gulch and so on, but where would the courses be placed? Yeah, you're going to be out there in the kelp fields.
Yeah.
So we shall see how that Ilka-4 Youth Worlds goes, and we'll report back. What else? It's just splitting the two fleets is just cretonic. Dude, what else? Lots of comments. My goodness, Julia. Claire said, Vice Commodore Harrington said 100%. I think she's talking about how American Magic did at the Worlds. Magnus Wheatley is on. Hi, Magnus. He's saying, agree. Slingers was great at Garda. Amazing run of results at the end. Yes. And Ryman is saying, as a Brit living in South Africa, Tom Slingsby is amazing, even if he is an Aussie Bravo Zulu. Well, what else? Blake Middleton up Minnesota says, when I first saw Tom Slingsby racing Moths at the Heaven Can Wait regatta on Jody Shields' home Lake Macquarie, he was both the Moth. Blake used to go down there and run events as a race officer in the wintertime. He was a Moth rookie, well behind the leaders. We all have recently asked, why did Magnus write that with a WRIGHT like the, well, a couple things. I mean, his trashing of the TP52 class, all of us wondered about that. But, we were all entitled to our opinions, including and especially Magnus. And here's another point from Magnus. He's saying, the boat is cheap as the cheap part. It's the coaching that's expensive. I believe that. And there's some great comments. What? Look at all these comments, Julia.
I know.
Gordon is saying, Magnus Wheatley is just showing off because I asked him for help with the Times, presumably Times of London crossword. John Emmett, in Athens, they were still building stadia when it all started. Yeah, well, that's Athens. Let's don't have the same thing in L.A. for this next event. Now, let's carry on here because we've got one more event to cover, and I thought we should cover this event, Julia,
That's
and
a great
this
picture.
win in the Isn't that fabulous?
Yeah.
This fabulous barn door photo.
Yes.
To the surprise of absolutely no one, the VO70 Lucky, which they've been on a rampage, New York Yacht Club member. They have won other major races this year and in the recent past. Lucky, it's an 88-foot Juan K designed yacht owned by Brian Earhart, whom both Mr. Doctor says is a terrific guy, as does Claire Harrington. He's a member of New York. and anyone else that's ever met him tell me that he's just first class and decent and relaxed and smart, yada, yada. They claimed that the Transpac's coveted barn door, which is awarded for first to finish monohull on this past Friday, July 11th, as the first monohull to finish the 2025 race. Crossing the Diamond Head finish line at approximately 07:23 Hawaiian time, Lucky completed the 2,225-mile course in 5 days, 21 hours, 23 minutes and change. That was not a record. The fifth fastest elapsed time for a barn door winner in the over 100-year history of this race. I believe it's over 100 years. Therefore, context
Comanche
are the others. You can see Comanche still holds the record, 5 days, 1 hour. Alfa Romeo, 5 days, 14 hours. These are monohull records. And then Alfa Romeo again, 5 days, 14 hours. It's the third. Excuse me. And then I did get a bit of a cold in Michigan, a summer cold. I'm still on the tail end of that, I'm afraid. And then Manoush Moshaedi's Real 100, our friend down in Newport Beach, holds the fourth fastest time on 5 days, 19 hours. And then Lucky did it this time in 5 days, 21 hours and change. Okay, that coffee helped too, Julia.
I'm glad.
And here's a little video. There's a lot of vertical videos being shot, and I don't care if they're vertical. You know, I prefer them to be portrait or landscape, rather, not portrait, to be horizontal. But it's okay. Here's a nice video about Lucky and their win.
Lucky is a 1K 27-meter boat. It's a boat that was built for offshore racing, and that's what our program really has been with us. And this mission is difficult, so we've been across the Atlantic a couple times, did the transatlantic in January, trans-Pacific here in July. We're having a year of things that are tough for the crew and tough for the boat, tough for the technology, and we're testing it all. I love coming here. This is the fourth time I've done this race, thanks to the race committee. This is a classic. I wish there were hundreds of boats like there are sometimes in the Atlantic races. They don't know what they're missing. The club puts on a great race. Everything from Long Beach to Honolulu is fantastic. You don't get lays anywhere else in the world for finishing a race, and you're sailing 2,300 miles plus, and then you finally see a piece of land, and when you see it, you've got Diamond Head.
Sailing with this team on this boat, the overall impression one has is experience and skill. It's just an extraordinary group of people, and it was a pleasure to be involved with them again.
You see how polite he was? He said, there's not any other race that he knows of in the world that you get lays at the end of the race. The rest of us would have said that you get laid at the end of the race.
No.
And would have you given us a finger wag?
Not at all. Not at all. Huh? That's a quite common expression.
Exactly.
There.
You arrive in Hawaii at the airport and you get laid.
Exactly right.
In the airport.
Yeah.
Fantastic group of supporters, some good video.
I love that race too.
Did you ever do it?
No.
But you were a racer chaser. You'd show up at the Waikiki Yacht Club.
Every time.
It's, the ending, and all the friends and family are up there on the balcony at the club as they come in and dock in, and it's just, it's a fabulous show.
How many welcome parties can you attend?
Well, exactly. Starting with a Mai Tai on the dock, that's what you get from the organizers when you dock in.
Right.
There is the crew of Lucky. You saw Stan Honey in that video.
I did, yeah.
And what a fabulous group. And not only Stan, but Jerry Kirby, Brad Butterworth, Dean Phipps, multiple America's Cup winner. Lucky's start was the third of the pursuit style starts. Remember, they started on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday with the fastest boats going last on Saturday, the July 5th. But she quickly ticked off the miles, at times covering over 400 nautical miles on a monohull in 24 hours, roaring past all the other 53 boats in the fleet. But wait, Julia, there's more. That was the first to finish team. Bravo Zulu to them. But our longtime friend Allie Belle from San Diego Yacht Club, and I believe she's the vice commodore at SDYC now, and her Restless crew, they say on course in these, but that's because they can't technically say she's won until all the other boats have finished, in case one of the tail enders with a lower rating somehow magically gets, a huge burst of speed.
And that's pretty easy to do. in that
Well, not at the distances we're talking and times we're talking now, but she in her Cal 40,
plane. Yay.
which, the nice thing about the Cal 40 is you get out into you get past Catalina and you get out into the race a day or two and you just point, you don't have to look, you just point the boat right at Waikiki,
Yeah.
trim the sails, and the boat has a great rating, especially if it is well tuned up,
Yes.
good sails, and has a good crew, which this Restless team, by all accounts, did. She's a hell of a good sailor,
Mhm.
and they are you can look at, the boat is really buffed out. It's in beautiful shape, the old Cal 40.
Yeah.
And that is a classic. And the fiberglass ceiling endured for 119 years.
Aha.
On Sunday night at 22:23 local time, skipper Allie Belle and the crew of her Cal 40 Restless took a winch handle to the notion that winning the Transpac top corrected time prize requires membership in an old boys club or a mighty war chest, neither of which she had. Belle's Cal 40 crossed the race's storied finish line off Diamond Head with an estimated corrected finish time of 8 days, 12 hours, 5 minutes, and 49 seconds. Provisionally, and of course, I think since they wrote this yesterday, provisionally, this is the fastest time among the 53 boats competing in 10 divisions that began this year's 2,200 plus nautical mile race from Los Angeles. So the editors note all this provisional winner and all this madness applies to Belle and Restless until all boats that are still competing in the race have crossed the finish line and until all times have been ratified by race officials. Results will be finalized later this week. Well, we all know that they have won, or we're quite sure. I wouldn't bet my life on it, but we'd certainly bet the ranch, Julia.
Yes.
There she is. Allie Belle and her Restless crew will be honored with the King Kala. How do you pronounce that? Kalakawa?
Kalakawa.
Kalakawa. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Trophy for the race's highest corrected time. They are also winners of the Bridger Insurance Division 9. More importantly, Belle cemented her place in history as the first woman skipper to win Transpac, which was founded in 2006 and is widely regarded as one of the world's greatest offshore
And it is.
races.
Congrats to her.
And Julia, you'd think poorly of me if I didn't have a video.
Oh, yes.
And a nice one.
Yes. Okay.
I just took my Cal 40 Restless on a sail across the ocean with 4 of my friends and family members, and we laughed most of the way across the ocean. We won our division. We won overall. And I believe I'm the first female skipper to win Transpac overall, which is a special place in history to be. My family is Transpac family. I can't remember a time where I didn't think I wanted to do a Transpac.
We're so proud of her. She's done what our family has trying to been doing for 60 years. It's a thrill to see an old boat be brought back to life. Am I proud? Absolutely.
Allie is one of the best coaches I've ever had. Not only my cousin, but my mentor. She really has this magnetic influence, and it's a great thing to be near her.
There were 5 of us on the boat, but there's a whole community of people, present and past, who pulled us through and made our journey the success it was.
I'm sure that's true.
Huh?
Yeah,
Like
I'm
that
sure.
video? Super nice. Bravo, Zulu. Here's her team again. And they had another friend of hers, in fact, maybe a cousin, I can't remember, who broke some ribs talking, not on the race like John Sangmeister did.
Yeah.
But she... family ties abound amongst the Restless crew. Belle's winning team consisted of her cousin, Graham Belle. I wonder if his real name is Alexander. I don't know him. I don't believe I do. Who served as navigator, her husband, Stephen Driscoll, famous Driscoll family, plus friends Eric Heim and Greg Reynolds. These guys are great sailors. I know them from San Diego Yacht Club, of course. Another cousin, Mara Belle Hoshina, was planning to sail with the team, but broke 2 ribs about a week before the race and had to remain ashore. It was her cousin. Quote, "It was just something that happened," unquote, said Belle about the last-minute crew shakeup. "We dealt with it and adapted our watch schedules," presumably is what that means.
Yeah.
with one less person, and they still won.
Yay.
Huh?
Nice going.
Bravo Zulu. There's another shot of their boat, of Restless, that Cal 40.
I'm so proud of the Cal 40 for doing that, too.
Well, exactly. Exactly. And nice that it doesn't have to be a high-pressured, high-powered, expensive campaign. I'm sure they're go read the articles, because there's a lot of quotes from her about how, as people at SDYC and in San Diego learned that she was going to do this, fixing the boat up and so on, started giving her sales and giving her equipment and giving her advice.
Oh,
Fabulous
good.
stuff.
Yeah, great.
That's what clubs are all about. It's what our beloved sport is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And this from the Commodore, whom I know from Stag Cruise last year. Unlike many boats that were vying for the King
Kalakawa
Trophy,
Kalakawa.
Restless isn't a high-dollar program. Quote, in a difficult race with a lot of great performances, this one stands out, said Bill Guilfoyle, hell of a nice guy, who's Commodore of the Transpac Yacht Club. He was at Stag Cruise last year. And a five-time Transpac race vet himself. Quote, it demonstrates that anybody with a well-prepared boat who sails well has the potential of winning, he said.
Nice point.
Guilfoyle, the Commodore, was clear that Belle's win is a testament to her skills as a sailor, a skipper, and a leader. Quote, this should be an inspiration to anybody who doesn't have the multi-million-dollar budget and wants to compete, unquote. Commodore Guilfoyle continued. This shows you can do that.
Skill counts.
Bravo Zulu. Skill, preparation, all the things Emmett keeps telling us about, right?
Right.
Bravo Zulu. But wait, there's more. So here she is with her Mai Tai in hand. Belle, it should be noted, is a first-time she's been on the Transpac, but first time as skipper.
Mm-hmm.
She is Transpac Yacht Clubs, which is this paper club that organizes this event for years and years with people from various clubs up and down the West Coast and beyond, and Hawaii. She's the current rear Commodore of TPYC, and she is, yes, Vice Commodore of San Diego Yacht Club. Interestingly, Alan Andrews, our longtime friend, designer of the Gulf Cup 22s down at Balboa Yacht Club, and a superb naval architect, and he's the Vice Commodore of TPYC, a noted yacht designer, of course, raced this year aboard John Raymont's Curve 42 Fast Exit, which looked like for a while they were going to win it uncorrected. And I've got some friends, that's the boat on which Colin Kennedy is sailing, and Tyler Wolk, and others, which had been one of the 2025 provisional winners until Restless. Oh, they make the point. Until Restless usurped their position on the estimated corrected time leaderboard. Quote, that our rear Commodore and Vice Commodore were not only in the race, but were as competitive as they were, is a testament to the fact that we're a club, meaning Transpac Yacht Club, of sailors, said Commodore Guilfoyle. Well said, Bill. Good stuff. Bravo Zulu. Here for the record of the rest of the provisional, I believe this is now final or will be shortly, line honors in the monohull division there, 1 through 19, and the multi-hull Convexity 2 did it in 7 days. Look at that. They were slower than the monohull, Lucky doing it in 5 days. And right on down, my gang at It's Okay in 7th. See that, Julia?
Yes.
There's my little telestrator in action. It's Okay did it in 9 days. Bad packed the TP52 from San Diego and lots of friends on that boat in 8th. And on down the list, there's Fast Exit 2, who corrected well. They're a well-sailed boat, and they were there in, 13th to first. Yeah, they're 13th in the elapsed time list, in the line honors list. So that's cool. Now to give you an update on our friend John Sangmeister down in Long Beach, who got, a day or so into the race and then broke. Yeah. He went below, as I explained on last Tuesday's show. A lot of you will remember, but he went below to get some Dramamine, some Bonine, some,
for somebody else.
For somebody else who had, as the French would say, mal de mer, a little seasickness.
Right.
And while he was trying to find it down below, they hit something away. I mean, it didn't hit a UFO, but they hit a big wave, and John was thrown across the boat from one side to the other, lost his footing, lost his grip, whatever.
Right.
And luckily didn't go head first and neck first into the other side of the boat, but he went chest first and ribs, broke 3 or maybe 4 ribs. I can't remember now. He told me. I talked to him this morning, in fact, to get an update. Broke several ribs, fractured a vertebrae.
Oh, yeah.
And they finally got him into an MRI after they rescued him and helied him back from Catalina and into UCLA Medical Center and the Harbor Medical Center. And, you know, he's in tough shape.
I know.
And I showed the picture of him in bed on last Tuesday's show. I showed the picture of him, and he's with the peace sign. He was not amused. He was not a happy camper.
No.
I mean, he spent all this money, and the crew's got all this time and effort to get ready to run the race, and he ends up in the horse pistol with, you know, can't even get up to take a powder and can't laugh or cry because it hurts too much, can't do anything. But the good news is he did get out last Thursday. Here is his nurse, who he says, Nurse Temple was a hero, took superb good care of him. John, who of course went to USC, University of Southern California, I said, well, were you feeling bad that you were at a UCLA hospital, their crosstown rival? And he said, no. I was so well taken care of there. And I know, talking to his wife, Sarah, that she was in there helping to negotiate the medical treatment as well.
Yeah.
So he got out. He's being wheeled out there by Nurse Temple on Thursday. Sarah's also in the shot. It got cropped out, not by me. But here's the other part of the story. He's home now. And he got home either Thursday or Friday from the hospital. This is a crew member on Rock and Roll, Craig Ramsey. He is the one, Julia, who had to admit it because his lung collapsed.
Yeah.
And, you know, when the lung collapses in the chest cavity, to get the thing to reinflate, you got to go in with a needle or a tube or something, go through the ribs.
Yeah.
You know, it was, I think he said it was on the right side. And you got to go in there with a tube to let some air out. So that you can then breathe in, and that'll get the air out of the lung cavity. We have Mr. Doctor on here to explain this better than I, or as John explained it to me this morning.
Yeah.
And John, and his Eagle Scout son, William, had just been through a day-long Boy Scout training session on what happens if you're out in the wilderness someplace and this happens. Well, thank God they had Starlink, and they had Elon Musk's Starlink system. They were able to call the doctor who had given this training session to the scouts at 2 a.m, and the guy answered his phone, bless his heart.
Yes.
And talked Craig Ramsey, this guy in the photo, through, and he's not a doctor, he's apparently not even an EMT, but the doctor had to kind of encourage, had to kind of finally shouting, get this done, you got to do it, because John's got to be able to breathe. So they counted down, I'm recounting this from my telcon with John this morning, counted down the requisite number, I think 3 ribs, and they used the longest, biggest needle in their medical kit because they didn't have the proper tube.
Right.
Punctured, went in there just deep enough and put a rubber glove on top of the needle so that to create a one-way valve.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't want air going back in when you exhale.
Right.
You want the air going out when you inhale, so that the air goes out of the cavity so the lung can, reinflate.
Right.
And they managed to do that with the doctor's Zoom advice, video conference advice over Starlink, out in the middle of the ocean.
That's fabulous.
Got him back, and when the EMTs and the ambulance guys picked him up, either in the helicopter or I'm not sure where, John told me this morning, they looked at this needle in this rubber glove one-way valve thing, and they said, that's the most ghetto-looking medical contraption we've ever seen.
But it worked. Yes.
So bravo Zulu to all involved, including and especially Craig Ramsey, who saved the day. And this photo from William Sangmeister, he sent that to me this morning. So, I mean, you got to be prepared for anything, I guess.
Yes.
And John lived to talk about it, thank goodness. And what?
This weekend, he had a big wedding.
Well, they had weddings, and threw in the middle of all this, Sarah, his wife's father, the fabulous
I forgot that. Yeah.
Peter Tong, who is a Maxi owner and sailor and entrepreneur. And we'll do a thing about Peter Tong on Friday because he passed away peacefully and surrounded by family. But while John was in the hospital, in the midst of all this. So they had a rather an eventful few days. Okay, speaking of Long Beach and Sangmeister and West Coast yachting, this event is going on. There's 2 phases. It started 3 days ago now. And today is the fourth and final day of phase 1. And look at these fabulous photos in Long Beach and they're racing all 10 classes in the Long Beach Olympic Classes Regatta. We did this leading up to the 84 games. We had an 81, 82, and 83, what was called OCROC, Olympic Classes Regatta Organizing Committee. And we had these 3 practice regattas, not only for the sailors, but also for the race committee and the officials and the logistics. These are important things to do. So this event is and Lisa Meyer, bless her heart, the Commodore of Long Beach Yacht Club, is the co-chair with Steve Van Dyke, and apparently things are going perfectly. Good. Logistics are great. The weather is fine. And they've got the 470s in this phase 1. They've got the ILCAs, 6s and 7s here in this phase 1, which ends today, by the way. No medal races. They're just doing kind of 2 races a day. I think the kites are doing more than that because they like to sail more shorter races. And they've had spectacular, typical Long Beach, July, August conditions. And everybody is happy as clams and more. Happy as Larry, as some of you would say. They're the kites. And they wrap up today, those classes. And then they take tomorrow off as a lay day, tomorrow, Wednesday. And then on Thursday through Sunday is the second phase with the other classes. And we'll continue in Long Beach through Sunday. And we'll give you a report, maybe a little bit of an update on Friday. I haven't seen much video or others. But the sailors, I had a quote. In fact, I'm going to read it because I didn't get it into the show because I got it from Lisa Meyer, who called me this morning. Let me see if I've got this quote. She said from one of the leaders, from Tony Vodisek from Slovenia, who was a silver medal in Paris 2024, I guess in what class? I'm not sure. Somebody remind me in the chat, please. So how was your day today on the water? Quote, I've been loving Long Beach thus far since it has been bringing us some amazing winds, beautiful scenery, and it's just so fun. And I can't really complain about the result, staying on the first place since day 1. So he should be happy.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the competition? Well, the competition is really great. The athletes here are really amazing. Unfortunately, not everybody is here, but I know they will be for the next years because I've fallen in love with this place and can't wait to be back. Now, I don't think Lisa Meyer twisted his arm and said, here, say these things so I can send it to Eamon. Right. And he can say nice things about it. But that's from Lisa Meyer and a text this morning. Last race, she says, is at 15:30 today, Pacific time. And then they take the day off tomorrow. And we'll do the second phase, as I said, Thursday through Sunday. And Bravo Zulu to everybody who's helping to sponsor that. Note the clubs all involved: Long Beach Yacht Club, Alamitos Bay Yacht Club, Balboa Yacht Club there on my home club down there in Newport Beach, and other clubs, California Yacht Club, Newport Harbor Yacht Club, and all the sponsors there. Bravo Zulu to all of them for making this event happen. What else here? Mike, sorry, did I say Steve Van Dyke? I know Steve Van Dyke. Thanks, Bing Bong. That's William Sangmeister. Mike Van Dyke is the co-chair along with Lisa Meyer. Thank you for correcting that, William Sangmeister, a.k.a. Bing Bong.
Yes.
Blake Middleton saying, great remote procedure for the lungs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing story, good crew. David James is wondering if that experience, David James would say, sounds like it calls for a spike to drink. Well, I guess the doctor had to say, hey, you should have done this. I told you, get on with this. Don't, you got to do it. J. Frederick Bland is saying, one hand for the ship, one hand for the man, swift recovery, John. And I just say that J. Frederick, James Bland down in Texas, is having a bit of a health challenge as well. He texted me or emailed me, and I sent him, as a result of hopefully, in an effort to give him some good luck with his health challenge, I sent him my favorite jazz song, Dolphin Dance. Oh, yeah. The old Dolphin Dance song. And I didn't even say more than that. I just put it in reply to the email. I'm sure he knew what I was doing. Yeah. But J. Frederick, James Bland, we wish you all we wish you the best of luck with your health challenge and hopefully a speedy recovery. And it's great to see you on here today, sir.
Yes, indeed.
He's going to go through a rough patch here, according to what he told me. And with that, I think we'll move to the next one, Julie, which is going to be John Emmett's report. Speaking of John, our coaching corner with John Emmett, our super Fozy, and he is in Weymouth and but he's not talking about Portsmouth. He's not talking about Weymouth. He's talking about Portsmouth and the Sail GP.
Yes.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the Fozy. Welcome back to Castle Cove Sailing Club and the boat park. It's really good to be here. I think summer has finally sprung, and one of the very big events just around the corner is the Sail GP. Now, being a passionate Brit, it's always good to support your own event, and that's actually going to be the first time I've made it, so I'm really looking forward to going there. Got the media accreditation, want to chat to as many of the top sailors as possible, and I think one of the key things about this event is the stadium sailing. It's something we talked about a lot, just trying to mean that you can actually reach out and touch that sailing. And Sail GP represents the pinnacle of a sport. So we look around here, and obviously it's very different from your Picos and your Ilkas and your OKs and all the menagerie of classes we have, because we're very lucky in sailing. There really is a class of boat for everyone. And actually, it almost feels, you know, sort of fighting amongst yourselves if you're going, oh, well, this is the best class or this is the best class. But the fact is, there is a best class for everybody out there based on your experience, your weight, your budget, your sailing location. And there's no doubt that Sail GP is right up there with some of the very fastest things that go, well, over the water rather than through the water. So very generously, the British team have come down to Castle Cove and they're going to do a talk. Any excuse to come down and go to the bar, to be honest. And this is just such a nice thing to try and bring sailing clubs and to feed back that elite sailing into the sailing club. So I'm really looking forward to the talk. We're just about to start. So let's see if we can sneak in without anybody notice and see if we can spot anything which is slightly different from usual. This is Richard, our Commodore. Okay. There we go. He's been manning the bar, which is almost the most important job to do at a sailing club. And somebody seems to have left a foil here. So this is solid. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but this is solid titanium. So it's quite heavy. And we've got pretty full club today. We've got Tom here getting ready to do a talk, so I don't want to hold it up anymore. So just remember to sail fast, sail safe, have lots of fun. See you on the show, and if you haven't done so already, buy tickets to Portsmouth. We good to go?
Thanks, Rod. Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah, cool. I guess that was Lily Zhu, his camera lady.
Yeah,
you could see long hair, right, in the shadow.
Yeah.
And I guess she's back there. And by the way, she has been named as one of the female skippers for next year's New York Yacht Club, this big women's international championship, which they're hosting in the IC-37s, in the big boats in Newport. They're already promoting it, and they're getting a lot of ink.
Yeah.
A couple of nice videos already out. And so, Claire Harrington, if you're still watching, I know she's got a busy day. Thanks for coming on. I saw her earlier.
Yeah.
But bravo Zulu to Lily, Zhu Ligia in Chinese, John's wife,
right,
who's now been, she's doing more and more big boat sailing.
Yes.
And she's today, I guess, doubling as John's camera op.
Yes. I was wondering if that was she.
I think it probably was. We'll ask John in the comments. So he's going to get over and he's going to give us some reports this weekend for next Tuesday's show for the Sail GP in not Plymouth, because that's where it was before, in Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Back for a moment on Transpac. I did not know this, and thanks for telling us. Somebody, I think it was David. Yeah, it was David James. 1906 Transpac start was moved from San Francisco to L.A. because of the earthquake.
Ah.
And apparently, it's been down there ever since. Is that right? because there's also a race now from San Francisco to Hawaii called the Cal Cup, or is that what it's called? Pacific Cup.
Pacific Cup.
The Pac Cup.
And it goes to a different place.
Does it?
It goes to the north side of the island.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Well, you would know. You're a big
I'm a
Hawaiian Island
I am.
racer chaser
I am.
for many years. What else is going on? Castle Cove Sailing Club's John's club there in Weymouth. That was very cool, John Emmett. Agreed. Thank you. High-speed rudder foils, that is. Yeah, okay. So enough of that. And that's John's report. But we got a couple of postscripts, Julia, a couple of PSs as we usually do. John Emmett Sailing, get to the front of the fleet. Speaking of Sail GP, I thought I would throw it in right here, that Sail GP promo for this weekend. No watch party. I'm not planning to do that, but it should be a good, interesting event. We'll see how the British team does this weekend. Buy your tickets now, the 19th and 20th. Sail GP Portsmouth, Sail GP UK. And David James confirming, Julia, what you said, that the Pac Cup, which starts here in San Francisco in the other, because the Trans-Pac, as you know, is every other year.
Yeah.
In the odd year. And then in the even year is the Pac Cup, which starts here and it goes to the north.
Yeah, the Kaneohe.
Kaneohe Yacht Club, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Ted Ryman, we'll do on Friday. We'll see who you think will win this weekend. We always like to do a little bit of that. Ryman already saying GBR on home turf should do well.
Yeah.
This weekend, 19th, 20th of July, Sail GP, the Grand Prix, the Great Britain, the British Grand Prix in Portsmouth. Also, we got an interesting note from Alistair this morning.
Look. Yeah.
And this parasailing is we hope, is going to get reinstated. We've been urging all of you, especially you Aussies, to get involved and get behind this for months since we did that show at the end of January. And some good news out of Australia this morning. Australian Sailing is committed. This is a Facebook post they did. I think it was on Facebook. Is committed to reinstating sailing in the sports program at the Brisbane 2032 Paralympic Games with World Sailing's new para-inclusive strategy and our own DEI strategy, I think mostly inclusivity, paving the way for greater accessibility and representation. We believe now is the time to grow our sport and champion inclusion at every level, of course. Reinstating parasailing won't just enrich the Paralympic program for Brisbane, it will inspire a new generation of athletes across Australia and beyond. So that was the Australian Sailing thing. And then there's from World Sailing. They're inviting the global sailing community to take part in a series of 3 upcoming webinars focused on para-inclusive the World Sailing's para-inclusive strategy and see the campaign and that campaign to see the sport return to Brisbane. These webinars will provide key updates on how sailing is progressing toward meeting the International Paralympic Committee's criteria, including areas such as classification, anti-doping compliance, and athlete participation. Attendees will also learn about the strategic roadmap, talk about corporate speak, ahead of how member national authorities, classes and sailors and other stakeholders can actively support this mission, which we've been urging for months here on Sailing Illustrated. Each webinar will include time for questions, yada, yada. We encourage everyone in the para-inclusive sailing community, athletes, officials, M&A class organizers, so why don't you encourage everybody to attend?
Yeah, sure.
This is a whole sport effort, and your voice matters. And there are the 3 dates, and at different times I don't quite understand the times, but no doubt John Emmett will be on one of those webinars, and we'll report back. Alistair Murray, as I said this morning, sent me the link to that. I'd already included it in the show because I'd seen it on Facebook, thanks to any number of our FOSI. And I'll say again, thank you to all of you who, even if I've already gotten a show, I sure appreciate the links nonetheless. I try to send a quick thanks back. I'm pretty busy in the morning preparing the shows and the night before, but your efforts at doing that are much appreciated, because that's how we put the show together, right, Julia?
John says he's doing webinar 1.
He is. Good. Okay, Bravo Zulu. That's Thursday. That's next Thursday. A week from this coming Thursday. A week Thursday, as they would say in the UK. Julia, that gets us to our special This Day in History. Are you ready?
Oh, I think so.
What happened on this day in history? The 15th of July in 1983. Here is your first clue.
Well, it's got to be America's Cup.
It is. That is Newport Offshore, which is one of the marinas, the big marinas on Lower Thames Street, at which America's Cup syndicates hoisted their boats out of the water. That's the 1983 America's Cup Challengers at Newport Offshore, I believe.
Unveiling their
Well, no, that's a good guess, though. Okay, this first one is Australia 2 skirted.
Yeah.
This is in the middle. This is in June or July of that year. I believe this next boat, I'm not 100% sure. I think that's Canada. Canada 1, I believe. Then the next boat, I'm pretty sure, is Azzurra, the Italian entry, the first time the Italians sent a boat to the Cup. And then I'm pretty sure this next boat is France. France, whatever it was, 1, 2, 3, something like that. So the comments are rolling in here. Keel gate, no. Skirt drop, no. The wing keel hidden, no. What else might have happened on this date, the 15th of July, 1983? Here's another clue for you, Julia.
Oh.
He was the skipper of the French entry, but what is he holding?
Vuitton Cup.
That is the Louis Vuitton Cup. It's a more recent photo than 1983, but it's the best I could find. And let's see if anybody else has got it. A band called The Waitresses played for the AC party. No, not quite David J. That's a good guess. French Kiss, Baron Beek, no, with his white glasses or his white gloves, and no. The newspaper article that got one over on DC, no. First, Steve Gruber. Well done, Steve. The first Louis Vuitton Cup racing started. That is correct. Keith Richards started getting a pension. Looks like Trouble. Yeah, big trouble there. So I was going to show you this photo, but Gruber's already got it. The 83 Louis Vuitton Cup at Azzurra, there on the left, racing against the British British boat, Victory 83. And it was on this date, 1983, in Newport, Rhode Island, that a major moment in yacht racing history occurred. It was the start of the 83 America's Cup Challenger Series, officially known as the Louis Vuitton Cup. This was the first ever edition of the LVC, established to determine which challenger would go on to face the defending yacht club, the New York Yacht Club, in the America's Cup Finals later that year. And if you're wondering why nobody got this, because if you Googled it, and if you looked at all my usual sources for what happened on this date, it's not there. This is the first real AI chat GPT use here on this show. I mean, I've used it not sparingly, but in passing in the past.
Yeah.
In passing in the past, what kind of a comment is that? So the 83 LVC saw several international challengers competing for the right to race against the defender. Ultimately, Australia 2, as you all know, representing the Royal Perth, won the LVC and went on to famously defeat the defender Liberty in September 83, breaking the New York Yacht Club's 132-year winning streak. So July 15th, 83 marks an, I would have said, historic opening in what became the most groundbreaking America's Cup campaign in history. That courtesy of Chat GPT. Great for everyday tasks.
Oh, that's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
And I took that verbatim off Chat GPT. I didn't edit it. Some of you who are on the Fozzie thread saw that me post a long thing last night about Chat GPT, because I also equalized our microphones. I mean, I don't know if you find this as impressive as I, as a nerd. Push your mic up, speaking, just pushing it up a little. There you go. But as impressive as this whole thing is, and it's also a bit scary.
Yes.
Because I saw something over the weekend, which is how I got on this. I've seen it, used it before, but not extensively. That is ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I saw somewhere they said, take a recording of your voice, send it to ChatGPT with a request that it sends you back equalization settings for your given mic and for the audio mixer that you're using, this Rodecaster Pro 2, this particular one, and it will send you the settings that should be optimal. So guess what? I dialed settings in.
Yeah.
And I then I did a test yesterday afternoon. Several of you are on now were listening, and I dialed them in, and to my ear, it sounds better. In fact, not only noticeably better, but I think distinctly better. I don't know what the rest of you think.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, what about the Audio-Technica headset that you're using, Julia?
Yeah.
What are without recording your voice, obviously.
Yeah.
But what would be the best settings for that? And they came back, do this, do that with equalization, with compression, and with this and that. And I dialed all those settings in to your channel. You can see the purple light on here.
Yep.
Maybe you can.
Yep.
Which is your channel. And I think I listened then. I had a recording that I did with your headset, and I think it sounds a hell of a lot better. I A-B'd the set. Anyway, I'm being a nerd again.
But it's very interesting.
I mean, it's astonishing.
And I'm amazed at the quality of what came out of your GB,
This verbiage.
Yeah.
I didn't touch it. Now, they did say that it was the first Louis Vuitton Cup was the first Challenger. So I kind of implied that it was the first Challenger Selection Series, which is not true. The first Challenger Selection Series was 1970 when they had two boats, the Australians and the French racing off to be chosen as the Challenger to race against Intrepid, and of course the late great Bill Ficker won, yada yada. Mm-hmm. And then there were Challenger Selection Series again in 74, 77, 80, but it wasn't until it got formalized as the Louis Vuitton Cup, and there was some sponsorship money, and they brought in a really good top-notch race. I mean, they had good race committees, but they really formalized the series. And it was, again, only 13 years after New York finally relented and allowed there to be a Challenger Selection Series, which meant the weight of competition. Now, there was, 6 teams in 83 vying for the right to be the Challenger, and really only 3 teams on the Defender side. And they won. And it was indeed the first Louis Vuitton Cup. Mm-hmm. And here is a shot from that series in, I believe, August, not in July when it started, because, lately after that, they started in June. But there's Azzurra on the right, Yacht Club Costa Smeralda, you can see on the back of their transom, that flag, Burgee, sailing against Australia 2 and leading, at least probably off the starting line, in a fabulous photo by, I'm not sure who took that photo. But today, coincidentally to all this, up pops on the America's Cup 38 website a long and fabulous article by Magnus the Magnificent about the Italian legacy, heritage, involvement in the Cup dating back to 1981, 2, and 3, leading up to the Challenger Selection Series, the Louis Vuitton Cup. And the article headline was, Azzurra, from the sports pages to the front pages, was the headline Magnus chose. And he said, to understand the cultural significance of the Azzurra project, it is key to understand Italy in the early 80s. Mired in a stagflationary recession and sharp increases in prices after the oil crisis, the oil embargoes of 1979, by the early 1980s, Italy needed a morale boost, and its sporting teams were to be the catalyst. So Magnus, I mean, this is a fabulous article. I commend it to you. I'm just excerpting from it as usual. But go back and have a look. You know who that is, Julia? A titan of industry, Gianni Agnelli.
I don't know that.
Arguably one of the most famous businessmen in the world, who took over the general running of Fiat in 1966 and had long held an ambition towards the America's Cup, stretching back as far as 62, when he had visited his friend, U.S. President John F. Kennedy, even watching the racing from the presidential yacht, the Honey Fitz. I don't believe that's true, by the way. I believe that they watched it from a Coast Guard boat and those photos of Kennedy and so on there in 62, because I don't think the Honey Fitz ever left the Potomac. But I'm not 100% sure. We'll ask Magnus about that. Cool stuff.
Yes.
By 64, Agnelli was seriously interested, but issues and obstacles presented by the defender, New York Yacht Club, made him ice the proposal to be revisited and reignited in 1980 when Agnelli corralled fellow Italian sailors and businessmen Pasquale Landolfi, who I knew well, was a good guy, and Mario Violati, I don't remember him, in fact, to see what boats were available to purchase after the 1980 Cup in Newport. And this, again, is the beauty of the old Cup.
Yes.
When you could go there, kick the tires, buy a boat from the current one to get yourself ready to do the next one.
Right.
It's not possible now. You're not going to buy one of these Gecko boats from somebody. And same in the IACC days. You could buy an IACC boat, take it home and learn about the boat, the class, and the design.
You could do that today.
Well, and that's why our proposal for doing another 12-meter event, I think, makes so much sense. But I digress. So that's Agnelli. But here's the other key figure. You know who that is on the left?
No.
His Serene Highness. That's the Aga Khan. However, it was an extraordinary intervention by Prince Karim Aga Khan following a meeting at his Parisian residence, Aiguemont, the following year in 81 that ignited the Azzurra Challenge and opened the most inspiring chapter in Italian sailing history. When the Aga Khan being president, with the Aga Khan being president of YCCS, a challenge was issued at the end of April 81 to New York Yacht Club, and the young entrepreneur Luca Cordero di Montezemolo, this guy, Luca Montezemolo, he was a character, the real deal. Latterly, the president of Ferrari, came into the fold as a key advisor and manager of the syndicate.
Wow.
Cool stuff. Now, here's the team, I believe, in Newport at their their crew house. They were proper.
Oh, they always were proper.
The British were proper as well. Peter de Savry's team were proper. And it was, as Ed Worley is saying, Azzurra purchased the U.S. That's what they went to Newport. They wanted to purchase Enterprise from Dennis to start the challenge and learn about 12s. And they, in fact, did do that ultimately. Here's the team in Newport in 83. And what a fabulous crowd. Yes. And I remember that well. We had a lot of fun and a very interesting, stimulating time in our beloved sport with the Italians, the Brits, the Canadians. It was an amazing scene. And, of course, 3 Australian teams. Chino Ricci, the accomplished Romagnolo.
Yeah.
I had to look that pronunciation up today. Sorry to butcher that. Match racer was appointed as skipper. The young designer Andrea Valicelli as naval architect, and Marco Cobao of whatever that is, Officini Meccaniche Pizarro as the boat builder. That was a boat builder on the east coast of Italy, I believe. What was so key to the Azzurra project was that from the very outset, it was to be 100% made in Italy.
Yep.
And Ritchie immediately set about hiring an Italian crew by placing an advert in the sailing newspaper. Mauro Pelasquier, the 2-time Olympian from 72 and 76, terrific gentleman, became the obvious choice as helmsman and attained a folk hero-like following almost immediately with his bushy beard and aggressive natural talent and instinct for making a boat go fast. Alan Long says that picture looks like something from the movie Wind.
Yes.
There's the boat being launched, the Azzurra being launched at the boatyard in 80, I think, 2. Yeah, the year of 82 was, in hindsight, a watershed year for Italy as a country. The soccer team, the football team, had just won the FIFA World Cup, beating Germany in the final 3-1, with Paolo Rossi, Marco Tardelli, and Alessandro Altobelli becoming instant icons. 8 days later, on July 19th, in the eastern seaport town of Pesaro, Azzurra was launched with its Gli Azzurri paintwork, the blue paintwork, the national color so beloved and intrinsically linked with the country. There's an even better photo, a Carlo Borlenghi photo of them racing the Brits during the first ever Louis Vuitton Cup Challenger Selection Series. Beautiful photo by Carlo. They're in the fabulous waters in Rhode Island Sound off Newport. And Magnus says, he concludes, the style that they had shown in Newport, Rhode Island did not go amiss despite a final tally, 24 wins from 49 races, Azzurra-branded helicopters, a Gilded Age mansion, lavish part. They were lavish. The Brits, though, threw the best one. And a highly recognizable team kit marked Azzurra as special, and their performances on the water made Italy believe that the America's Cup, the greatest sporting trophy in the sailing world, was within their grasp. And that's the prose of your favorite writer, Julia Magnus.
Yes.
The Magnificent Wheatley on the 38th America's Cup website. And not to disappoint you, Madam Commodore.
Yes.
I have a video.
Good.
In 1983, Italy entered the America's Cup for the first time with a boat named Azzurra.
Sailing was totally new for people. I was only 10 when I listened to the radio about the news about the Azzurra. It started making some people dreaming.
A movement was born. Backed by the Aga Khan and Gianni Agnelli, Azzurra was never just a boat. From the very outset, it was 100% made in Italy. Wearing Azzurri national colors, the Azzurra team's accomplishments resonated across Italy as they took on the best in the world during the 1983 Louis Vuitton Cup. Taking 24 wins from 49 races in her debut.
Guardate Azzurra e Australia 2. Sono i 10 minuti più importanti di tutta la regata.
Azzurra was eventually eliminated by Australia 2, the boat that ultimately ended the USA's 132-year winning streak. Though she didn't win the cup, Azzurra did win the hearts of millions back home and sparked Italy's love affair with the America's Cup, which continues to this day.
Be there or be square.
Yes, indeed.
We'll see if that happens in Naples, and if it happens on time, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Fabulous stuff. And I had no idea Magnus was running this piece on the website. I had no idea that they'd produced that video, which I found this morning by happenstance, me going searching through. Right. And my search engines that are not as good as Stingray's, but almost as good. He's got the best search engines. Yes. And he sends a lot of stuff our way. Thank you again, Stingray. But great stuff. And do you remember, Julia, who won the first ever Louis Vuitton Cup? There's a clue for you. Australia 2.
Oh, I was going to say that was Australia.
Yeah, they won the, and then they went on, of course, having won the Challenger Selection Series, aka Louis Vuitton Cup. They went on to win the America's Cup. Yeah. Now, for extra credit, can you or anyone in the chat identify the gentleman second from the left, Julia? I have no idea who the guy holding the mic is, but second from the left. It's Henri Racamier, who was then CEO of Louis Vuitton.
Ah.
And whom Bruno Trouble called and said, I have an idea. I have an idea. Yeah. I think we should sponsor a sailing regatta. Uh-huh. We'll call it the Louis Vuitton Cup. I'm here in Newport. Mm-hmm. And, we need a sponsor, and we need to organize this Challenger Selection Series into something a little more.
Let's give it some class.
Let's give it some class and style and dignity and grace. And Henri Racamier said almost immediately, according to Bruno, who's told me the story any number of times, he said, yes, let's do it. Figure it out, Bruno. And they did. Without a budget, and Bruno did it. Uh-huh. And the rest, as they say,
is history. Yeah.
Bravo, Zulu. Good stuff. And nice video. And nice job, Bruno. Steve Gruber saying, Magnus is on, saying a full program of articles coming soon. That was a fabulous article. I commend it to all of you. Go back and read the full article because, as I said, I was just excerpting from it. Chris Exley, Bruno Troublé is a true visionary, and that is the truth. Pedro Foiling Sailor's on. I still have his piece, which I'll run in due course. Not today, but I've also got an AAAA from Alistair that came in this morning.
Wow.
And he's got a nice interview with his new CEO of their new CEO of Australian Sailing. And Pedro Foiling Sailor, a.k.a. Peter Stevenson, is saying the Aussies were proper, that is Australia too, and they focused. They focused on sailing, not style. That is true. And they'd been there to Newport by then a number of times. They had Andy Rose as a coach, and they'd been there since, 74? I mean, that team. Notice the style of articles coming. What's that say? Notice? Yeah, Magnus identified Henri Racamier in that photo.
Mm-hmm.
And Blake Middleton says, I have a great photo of my mother with the LV Cup when it visited Minnetonka Yacht Club a number of years ago. And Peter Stevenson saying, and notice the style dress of the Aussies. Well, they had good clothes. Everybody wanted one of their shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Not the least of which after they won. Great memories from 43 years ago, Julia.
Just like yesterday.
43 years ago. Did you see, I didn't want to stop the video. Did you see the Azzurra team? There was a quick clip. Magnus, this is an interesting topic, a tidbit for you. Did you see him holding a hockey stick? There was in that video, I just noticed it again. I saw it when I first downloaded the video. In that summer of 83 in Newport, each of the teams threw a party, some more magnificent than others because depending upon the budget and so on.
Right.
The British Ball was the best America's Cup party any of us can ever remember in my 45 years.
Yes, it was someplace special.
There have been some special places over the years, but they brought in the bagpipes and Peter de Savary did it up.
Yeah.
It was, he brought in royalty. It was a fabulous affair. The Azzurra party was pretty cool too, but the Canadians, bless their hearts, didn't have much of a budget. And they came to me and said, and they knew I was a hockey player, we'd like to have a pancake breakfast because that means we don't have to buy alcohol. We're going to have a pancake breakfast in front of our crew house, which was up there on Bellevue Avenue, I think. And I think then I was asked to put together a street hockey game and referee it, which I did. And we put together, Robin Wallace was, I think, my other referee, the late, great Robin Wallace, those of you who know him. And that hockey stick, I assume, was the team heading to that party or coming back from that party.
Oh, what fun.
But there was the Italians with a hockey stick. And they may have even won it. I mean, that game, that street hockey game with a ball, a tennis ball and some hockey sticks, got so rough, I had to call it off. I was afraid somebody was going to get hurt. These teams were so ultra competitive.
Woo!
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks for making me feel young again. Helen Long is saying, okay. Notice how tiny the LV Cup was. Well, did it get bigger?
No, it's on a bigger platform right now, but I think it's the same one.
That's a great story, Magnus Wheatley is saying. Yeah, well, we did have the Canadians had a street hockey game, and it was in Newport that summer. That was a magical summer, as most Cup summers are. Mm-hmm. Okay, moving ahead here, I promised an update on what I am hearing about the current as the Cup turns, Julia.
Yes.
And that's the parting shot from Barcelona. And of course, we think it's heading to Marseille in 2027, or not Marseille, to Naples rather, in 2027. Magnus will assure you that it's going there, but one never knows because the trustee, the otherwise esteemed Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, fabulous, I always say it, fabulous venue, fabulous town, fabulous members, great tradition. Mm-hmm. But they turned the trusteeship over to Mr. Dalton, contrary to New York law, contrary to the deed of gift, contrary to a lot of things. And you would think there would be some action somewhere behind the scenes, right?
Yes.
But as I played at the top of the show, I'll do the sound effect again. It's crickets.
Yeah.
Because the lawyers are beavering away on both sides. Mm-hmm. Russell Green and his legal team, DBA, the defense, are beavering away. Okay, enough of the crickets. and also the challengers, meaning the New York Yacht Club, the Société Nautique Genève, meaning Olengi and Ernesto Bertorelli, and of course the challenger of record, who is the Royal Yacht Squadron, and Ben Ainsley's team, Athena Racing.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go into all of the machinations, but I'm having direct consultations, discussions with any number of teams. I've also now heard from the Italians, from a senior serious source at Luna Rossa Prato.
Yeah.
And they're going on as if it's all going to happen on time, on schedule, because they're assured by Mr. Dalton it will. There are also 2 other possible Italian teams, including a former Italian team member, a good friend of mine. We'll see if he comes to fruition.
Yeah.
There are possible 3 Italian teams. The French have proclaimed their interest in continuing, they having competed in Barcelona in the person of
That'd
Stefan
be fun in Naples.
Candler. Well, Naples, if it doesn't, if one of the, if that one of those volcanoes, the volcano's already gone off down in Sicily, right? But if Vesuvius goes, that'd be another issue.
Oh, well, just add a little
Well, it
excitement.
could, they're having all these little earthquakes. Now, is it going to happen? It could happen, right now. It could happen this afternoon, could happen this evening, or it might not happen so somebody said, a senior serious Fosi said to me yesterday.
Yeah.
It's long overdue, Tom. I said, yeah, so is the big one here is long overdue. Which means it might not happen for another 500 years.
I know.
I'm not going to worry about earthquakes. That's out of my purview. But I am hearing that there is continuing discussions. The challengers, are trying to, including the challenger of record, including especially the challenger record, are trying to get an agreement on the protocol. The first draft of that protocol, which was leaked to me, which we then exposed to the world, was just utterly crotonic. Right, Julia?
Yes.
And then Mr. Dalton and Russell Green went back and made several amendments to it, but not nearly enough to make it fair or decent or proper. And they are continuing to operate in their own little vacuum. They are not revealing the sort. In the meantime, they've done a venue deal. Where's that money going? They've done apparently a television deal, or provisionally television deal. And of course, they've done a deal with a title partner, with Louis Vuitton, which is the title partner again for the Cup. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't understand how you think you, Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, Grant Dalton, have the rights to run the Challenger Selection Series. Tell the challengers how the series is going to go. Tell the challenger of record to sign now on the latest draft of the protocol, or we're going to kick you out of the Cup. Sign now, because time's running short. I mean, this event's in less than 2 years' time. If it's going to be in the early part of 2027, May of 2027.
Somewhere I read an article.
Yes.
Which talked about the America's Cup in Auckland in 27.
Well, you may have heard me say that on the last show.
No, I read it.
You probably did, because one of the things that Mr. Dalton is threatening is saying, I have not seen the paperwork, but Ben Ainsley is the typical challenger of record. What you do in what's the so-called hip pocket challenge, you get the paperwork done. It's drafted by the defender. The defender gives it to you. You look at it, make a couple changes, sign it, and send it. And you don't send it. When the challenger, when the defender, ETNZ, crosses the finish line, the new challenger of record and their representatives are out there on a boat, sequestered, all the fax machines and email and everything's turned off, so that you can hand over and be the first challenger. And that's exactly what the Royal Yacht Squadron did. And that challenge, I'm told reliably, is for a 23-meter boat of a certain other dimensions, which is roughly a 75-foot boat, for a match in the Southern Hemisphere in 2020, in 10 months' time, which is the term, which is the length of time in the deed of gift.
Deed of gift, yeah.
You got to give 10 months' notice of challenge. Now, that's just boilerplate. That's the normal stuff.
Right.
But of course, in the meantime, Mr. Dalton has said, well, it's not going to be according to your challenge. It's going to be, and by the way, we're going to mutually consent to this, right? He's saying to Sir Ben. It's going to be in Naples, which we've decided, and Defender has the right to name the venue. I don't think they can name it outside of the country, but that didn't stop Golden Gate. And it didn't stop SNG, but SNG did not have suitable water, so nobody argued. And if nobody complains, then okay, the courts aren't going to get worried about that. But there is the possibility that Mr. Dalton will run a deed of gift match in Auckland in, tell me when, December, and tell the Brits, our boat's here, we're ready to race, where are you? Anyway, and that's just one combination and permutation of the many possible current outcomes of this thing, or not even outcomes, but the current paths that any of the combatants could take going forward. It's become very messy, very contentious, and I do believe, sadly, I hope it doesn't. I really don't, because I've been through it twice. I'm the only person on the planet who's been through a deed of gift challenge and defense. Defense in 1988, a deed of gift challenge in 2010, and won them both. Our side did. And of course, I had a key role running the court cases with other people. So I hope it doesn't happen, because it becomes very messy. And the other thing that happens is that once it gets into the trial court at 60 Center Street in Manhattan,
you lose control.
Well, you end up then with a decision that one side or the other doesn't like, and the lawyers talk you into appealing, and you appeal it to what's called the appellate division, also in Manhattan. You go to that court 6 months later, and then that court issues a decision, and the lawyers say, oh, that's flawed, we can win that. And then from there, the lawyers talk you into appealing to the State Court of Appeals up in Albany, New York, and that takes another year, basically, or 6 to 8 months. So I'm not going to hold my breath that this is going to happen in Naples in 2027, because there's just too much messy stuff going on right now. Who's going to win? The lawyers. And there's a lot going on. John Emmett suggests we focus on SailGP. Well, you can do that, John. It's there in your backyard. A lot of us are interested in the Cup, are interested in all the machinations as the Cup turns, as I call it. We'll see. The Defender should not be allowed to race in the Challenger trials. I'm seeing Edward. Yeah, we could go on here, and Fog Machine, who's following the volcanoes for us, Vesuvius or Camp Phlegery, which is right next door, which is where the team basis is supposed to be. That could end things. That could be the end of things. So I don't know. Let's see who can pony up the U.S. dollars, the euros, etc. Ed Worley, the Team New Zealand Grant Dalton protocol only allows one team per country. Yes, but that's not legal. That's not deed legal either. And if this ends up, you just never know. You go to court, you have no idea what a judge, a trial judge, who probably is not a sailor, probably doesn't know much about the Cup, will have the paperwork from 88 and 2010 as precedents. And we'll look at that. And what they do, I guarantee you, because it's happened in both cases, they take the four corners of the deed of gift and they read the words in that, because that's what New York law, deed and trust law says. You read the words using reasonable understanding, contemporary understanding, and historical understanding within the four corners of that piece of paper. You don't interpret how you'd like it to sound. You don't interpret to what's fair or what seems fair to you, the judge. You read the paper. And that's then it's all, it's all bets are off, Julia.
Yes.
Okay, enough of that. I've given you the long long explanation. And yes, we should focus on other things, and we will. Are we done with the AC talk for today yet, Blake Middleton is saying? I'm just looking to see if there's any questions. Ed Worley saying, read the deed. Mark Holland is saying, exactly. We'll leave it to the two of them. But if I don't stay on the show, I mean, you saw at the top of the show, somebody said, are we going to get an update on the Cup?
Yeah.
They ask, and I get texts, and I get stuff. So we got to update it because people are interested.
They are.
And the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, the fine people that they are the worst trustee in the history
of
the Americas.
Heard peep
Cup.
from them?
I haven't. I'm sure I'm not on their Christmas card list.
No, I don't think
you
so.
You probably aren't either.
No.
But Magnus will write some more about this. I'm sure Magnus is going to cover all this fully, aren't you, Magnus? Okay, enough on the Cup. I would say by the end of this week or early next week, we might know a lot more.
Okay.
Okay? You heard it here first.
All right, I'm
That
ready.
gets us to the last leg. If you're just joining us, we're about an hour and 50 minutes into this show. We started at 1 o'clock here, 1300 in San Francisco. An hour and 50 minutes into the show. We do this every Tuesday and Friday at 1300 Pacific, 2000 UTC this time of year. And 800 in Auckland, 0600 in Sydney. We appreciate all of you joining us for these shows. And increasingly, it's kind of back to pre-COVID or during the COVID, we got a lot more viewership because people were locked in and
didn't have anything else to do.
Didn't have anything better to do than to listen to us gasbag here on the show. We appreciate all of you tuning in, and the levels continue to increase from month to month. And Clark Chapin tracks it for us. The last leg to Gloucester, Julia.
Yes.
Is our last leg graphic. And the last leg, we're going to talk about the Aegean 600. I'm not going to do a lot of explanation of this, but Best Buddies from Germany. They're the winners of the Aegean 600, the 2025 edition on corrected time. The boat that won first to finish in the 600-mile yacht race was Aiolos. And I looked up the pronunciation of that word. It is Aiolos in Greek. They were first to finish, the monohull first to finish, and they are the top maxi. And do you see who is on the right there, Julia?
Yes.
There's Mr. Doctor, who's been commuting around Europe to give out trophies and to run maxi events and so on, as he did there.
He's amazing.
And he said, you know, I thought it was hot in Greece because he flew down there and you're in the jet, you're in the airports, and then you're in the jet, the jetways, and they're not air conditioned always. And he said it was just bloody hot this time of year in Greece, as we know.
Yeah.
Then he gets back to the UK, and now you're having that big heat wave in the UK. And he said, I've been sweltering, so I'm going to come to San Francisco with you and Julia and cool off because once again, it's 60 degrees.
I know.
Not much more than
It's July and 60.
And we have a video from the Aegean 600, a fabulous race, and I think you'll enjoy this. I guess I should voice this after how many days they say they're back. George Prokopios Aiolos gets the mono-hull line honors.
It was an excellent regatta with fantastic scenery, passing all our beautiful islands. The weather was a big surprise to have 5 days calm in Aegean, but the last 18 hours compensated us because we had winds up to 50 knots, and that is where the whole game was developed.
A few minutes behind the first Mully-Hull, Adrian Keller's ball. I missed it. Mully-Hull line honors 3 days and 19 hours.
It was much longer, obviously, and it was what was difficult for us. It was a lot of no-wind zones in between. Great, but we were 5 times in complete zero wind.
It was like we imagine it was supposed to be, of highlands, color of the sea, lights, everything was there. All the mythology about this area and sailing out there was just exactly how we can imagine. No wind, a lot of wind, big change very quickly. Fantastic. It was very demanding, a lot of change in the context, in the wind and so on. It was exactly how we imagined. To be honest, after the start light, it was a bit calm, but after that, everything calm, and we have wind, no wind, a lot of wind, and absolutely no wind, so fantastic.
Varuna broke through the pack of big players.
I've raced in 4 Transpac races.
Chris Hemmons from Newport Beach, California.
I've raced to Mexico many times, but this race, I don't know, I can't really break it down in words. The sunsets and the moonrise, the sunrise in the morning, the whole sky is orange. It's just It's probably one of the most beautiful courses I've ever sailed, hands down. I guess in a nutshell, yeah, I'm coming back. We're gonna do this again. It's a tough race. We feel incredibly lucky that we are where we are.
Carbonita from Italy rounded out the first group of finishers. Results remain provisional as much of the fleet is still at sea. Well, I think most of them have finished. Stay tuned. Another fabulous, Julia, Rolex video. And I want to do that race sometime myself. I have not been to Greece. My sister has a Swan 48 in Spetses Island. And I'd love to go there at some point, sail her boat around and maybe look at a regatta or two.
You ought to do that.
I think I should. A good point. So that's our last leg, except another coda here. Remember that trophy we've been talking about? The 17th of July through the 1st of August is the renewed, thanks to many, but including and especially Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin, who chaired the advisory committee to get the Admirals Cup back on track after what? A long time. 2003? Was that the last time? And in the Cows, the Isle of Wight starts Thursday. They've got a distance race, I think an overnighter. And let me back up. And I did find a video this morning that has just been released about the upcoming start of the Admirals Cup. Enjoy.
Good.
Enjoy.
The Admirals Cup is a unique competition in yacht racing. It's the only team-based event in offshore racing.
I think the heritage is massive. It's such an iconic race, and the fact that it's resurfaced is amazing.
To bring the Admirals Cup back after a 22-year gap, for me as the CEO of the Royal, it's an amazing privilege. You know, some people actually put it second in stature to the America's Cup. The entrants create a two-boat team. We base it around clubs, and they're representing their country as well.
We have inshore, windward leeward, we have round the cans, we have across the channel, the fastnet.
It's the whole spectrum of racing, really, in a 10-day program.
The Admirals Cup is the unofficial offshore world championships. And if you look at the crew list for this event, it's off the scale, the who's who of sailing. We're really lucky to be an official supporter for the Admirals Cup this year. Racing is in our DNA. We want to support top-level events, to be able to talk to the sailors, talk to the marine professionals, and help develop our products for the future.
Being a professional sailor is something I've worked towards essentially my whole life. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be part of such an iconic event.
The quality of those entrants is unbelievable, the quality of the crews, the quality of the boats, and it will be a real fierce competition.
In the end, talent wins your races, teamwork wins your championships.
Nice video, eh? Courtesy of Harkoon, of Harkin.
Yes.
Yacht Fittings. And by the way, that previous video was courtesy of guess who?
Rolex.
Rolex. Exactly right, Joe.
I was thinking then and earlier today, too, wouldn't it be fun and interesting to talk to whoever in Rolex is head of their...
It's changed. I mean, Rick Bannerl played a big role in that for a while back in the day. So it's changing, and I don't know who it is, but let's find out. Good point. Good point. We'll find that out, Julia.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, they do such a great job. Yeah.
They do indeed. Aegean has fabulous sailing. Fritz Mueller is saying, Hi, Peter McDonald. How about the Chris Hemmons on Varuna winning Class 1 in the IRC and ORR? Yes. Cool stuff. Peter knows. Is he... Peter, tell me in the chat, is he a member of Balboa Yacht Club or Newport Harbor Yacht Club? That is Chris Hemmons. I know his kids, and I've met him before and so on. Ted Ryman agrees with you, Julia. Rolex vids are always very good. So is Mr. Doctor. There's a new name, Keith Jamix. Jamix? Thanks, T.E. and Julia. Love your show. Thank you. And Claire Harrington, Vice Commodore Harrington of the New York Yacht Club, saying several NYYC members are still in that race.
Will be in the race.
Will be in the race. What's that mean? Will be in the race. Oh, I think she means in the Admirals Cup. Indeed.
Oh, yes.
A Pedro Foiling sailor. Australia would be hard to beat with Sean Langman representing us. Yes, I think they're going to be a very tough team. And Peter McDonald says that he's a member, Hemmons is a member of St. Francis. Julia, I think that's what he means. Okay, I'm going to wrap this segment up and we'll get on to the final funnies here. But you see that photo? You know where that is?
Yes. Because I sent you the picture.
Did you?
I think so.
I got it from a number of people, but I got to the photographer himself, Rick Tomlinson. That is a beautiful full buck moon rising over the Needles, which of course is out on the west end of the Isle of Wight. And then we'll see a lot of action here with the Admiral's Cup and racing in and around that. But that was taken on the 10th of July with just a fabulous photo, right?
Yeah.
What, Julia, for extra credit, what is a buck moon?
I don't know.
I don't either. I didn't look that up. Somebody in the chat will know.
We see strawberry moons that are sort of like that. We're really big and close to the horizon, and we call them strawberry. But
and a harvest moon is only in the fall, or autumn.
Yeah.
Monaco is my tip for the Admiral's Cup. Magnus is saying. Ted Ryman correctly identified that as the Needles. Yes, Commodore Harrington, you got a lot of New York Yacht Club members in the Admiral's Cup, and we're looking forward to that. And by the way, Julia.
Yes.
Mr. Doctor, with whom I spoke yesterday afternoon at some length.
Yes.
About a number of topics.
I'm sure.
He is going to take some videos of the in and around the Admiral's Cup, and he's going to try to come on one of our next couple shows during the Admiral's Cup.
Oh,
probably not this Friday because they have their first race Thursday, but probably the following week. But he's got visiting royals. The Princess Royal is coming. Princess Anne is coming. He's got to help take care of her. There's a reception and so on.
Yeah.
You know, he's a big deal.
He is a big deal.
And we really appreciate him. And he's going to...
He wears that role very well.
Well, he does.
Very well.
Humanitarian, doctor, advisor.
Yes.
Better known here with a bit tongue-in-cheek, Mr. Doctor, for reasons we don't need to repeat here. Julia, your favorite segment, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, get your finger ready. You know what that is? Speaking of Brits. No, that's from Ed Vitrano, but you know what that is? That's Stonehenge.
Oh,
Stonehenge.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. I saw that when it came out.
Now, we're going from food to fast food now, okay?
Okay.
This, finally, the adult Happy Meal has arrived. Guess who sent that? I'll give you two. It's either Greg Phillips in Australia or Ryman, and that did indeed come from Ryman. Do you approve?
Oh.
You're not going to give a finger whack. Okay, that's fair enough. I thought the cookie dough hinge. No, I think that's a scone hinge, Alan Long. Yeah, Fritz Mueller got it. And finally, Julia, a sailing one. Here's this one. Came from a number of people. A TikTok, a sailing TikTok. He's Irish, it looks like, according to the penny, the bib. But it says ITA on his sail. Now, I see some legs in the back. So what I thought he was doing, he tied the tiller down and was somehow balancing the boat and steering it and dancing all at the same time. Yeah. There's somebody way in the back of the boat driving it.
Oh, is there?
But this has spawned now. No surprise. There's a bunch of others. And if anybody wants to send me any others, we'll run a few of them in due course. But because I did see a couple where there was from the bow of the boat looking back, there was nobody else in the boat.
Yeah.
And the kid was steering it with his body weight and so on. Mm-hmm. It could really only come from Ryman. Peter Taylor said about the previous one. Mm-hmm. Steering a dragon boat. Yeah, no rudder. Good stuff. Okay, Julia. And finally, we always like to use Blake Middleton's submission, which I've used before at the end of the show. All the smartest people sail.
Yeah.
We dedicate that to you because you're one of the smartest people I know, Julia. Oh. And I don't say that just because you're my landlady.
And you're
have I paid this month's rent?
Let me check.
Yeah, let me check. Blake Middleton sent that in. Thanks, everybody. That gets us to the finish line. Thank goodness. And Julia, at this point, you like to say,
please like and follow and share this program to your friends who sail, especially.
Yeah, indeed. And help spread around the good word. It doesn't really do much for us, except it does help spread the word on the only This is News, Views, and Notables. It's the only live sailing video podcast in the world.
Yes.
Twice a week, coming up on 850 shows, Julia, on Friday. On Friday. Thank you for that. Comments are welcome, even in replay. Joe Holtzman, thank you for your kind comment and the other kind comments that are rolling in. Julie, we also want to thank those of you who do give us a few bucks a month. Patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. Thank you very much for your support.
Yes.
And Magnus says did I say this? We should watch out for the Monaco Yacht Club Admirals Cup team. He thinks they're going to be good. I saw his comment.
Yeah.
Julie, we want to thank those who gave us audio, video, and images for today's show. There they are. And a bunch of them. Good stuff. Without that, we wouldn't have a show. Mark Holland, fun show today. Thank you very much. Nice to have Julia back. That is true.
Oh, and it's great to be back.
Fritz Mueller, thanks, Tom, Julia, and all of Fozy. Another great show, as always. And he loved the news Blake Middleton did about the IQ foil. Yeah, this is more of a newsy show, catching up after taking last Friday off.
Uh-oh.
I had to get back here one way or another. And Friday you know why I did it on Friday and not Thursday or Saturday? I had to get out of the cottage on Friday. So I took it right to the bitter end. I had to get out of there by noon Friday, the cottage at Portage Yacht Club where we were staying. But also, it had the cheapest flight back.
Well,
I'm poor. I got to,
you gotta keep up your rent.
Well, you got to keep my rent up, but I also have to manage my pennies, save my pennies, right?
Yes.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you all very much. Just a schedule note here. Again, our next 4 shows today, and then the following 3 shows, regular Tuesday and Friday at 1300 Pacific. Then on Tuesday the 29th, we'll be down, as one of you said in the chat. Yep, it's about time to get going with Gov Cup, and we're going to have Road to the Gov Cup segments here coming up in the next few shows. Tuesday the 29th, we have 2 shows down in Newport Beach at Balboa Yacht Club, the special Gov Cup preview show at 1300, and then we'll go live that night with Andy Rose hosting the Meet the Teams at 2000 Pacific, and then we'll be doing live coverage, 10 shows in 6 days, starting actually with that Tuesday show, then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning shows and post-race press conferences and yada, yada, yada. Gulf Cup morning show on Friday the 1st. No regular show that day on Friday the 1st because I'll be out on the water doing some segments for our live coverage, which will take place on Saturday and Sunday at 11:30 Pacific, both days. And the rounds robin and then the semis and the finals wraps up Sunday afternoon. We'll also cover the post-race press conferences on Saturday and Sunday, as I mentioned, but also the awards ceremony live. So if your parents, if your friends and family tune in, it's great for the kids that are racing.
And if you know their parents, tell them.
And we're back, yes, and we're back to racing. Well, the parents, we're actually contacting all the yacht clubs this year directly because we haven't done that in the past, and we're hard at work at doing that now.
That's great.
Balboa Yacht Club and the rest of the gang down there. 100 volunteers putting that event on. Our regular Tuesday and Friday shows will resume on Tuesday, August 5th. Julia, any final thoughts?
No, it's that time of year.
It is that time of year. Big time. It's Northern Hemisphere, Admirals Cup. It's all on, as Stevie Morrison will say on the Sail GP. It's all on. And he'll shout and scream. But we won't do that here. We'll just invite you back Friday to join us then for our next show, 850. 850, Julie. In the meantime, sail fast, sail safe.
Have fun.
And have fun. And wag your finger at Head Ted Ryman. Thanks, everybody. See you Friday.